Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel. And it's been a while since I've uploaded a new review, and maybe if it interests some of you I can do like an update video. But for the most part you are here for the reviews, not for life updates. So we're going to forget about that. We're going to jump into a new series of reviews this week. We're back for at least a month or so on 3 reviews a week, and I'm so excited to be back. So let's roll the intro and dive directly into Peter Turner and Pigcake's Open Predictions. Excellent, so you decide to stick around. It means you want to learn more about Open Predictions from Peter Turner and Pigcake. So what is this project? I think the title's pretty self-explanatory. It's a project on Open Predictions. And what I'm going to do for you is I'll do 2 live performances of 2 of the effects from the project that you could expect. So one of them is going to be very simple. All of them start with a shuffled deck, so the deck can be shuffled by your spectators. Okay? The deck comes back onto the table after they shuffled, and what you're going to do is you're going to place the open prediction. So you're going to go through and you're just going to place one card onto the table. So in this case, I'll go for this one. I'll place this card right on the table. And now the spectator does everything. So you tell them to take around half the deck, go through and take out a card from the middle. Take a look at it. I won't actually look at it, but I do kind of need to see it because for the performance, because usually this card is going to be the stop card for the spectator. So in this case, it's the Queen of Clubs. So this would be the card that the spectator is going to stop on during the routine. But normally you wouldn't see this. They place it on top, they cut it in the middle, and they can even shuffle these cards and then take everything, place it in the middle of that, and give everything a shuffle again. So now essentially what they've done is they've chosen a stop card, and what that stop card is going to do is going to stop us at one card that we're going to flip over so that all of the cards are facing up except for one. So you instruct them to pick up the deck and start dealing until they see their stop card. So they're going to start dealing until, in this case, we see the Queen of Clubs. And you tell them that they've mixed the cards, they shuffle everything, so there's no way to know where the card is, but you do have kind of a feeling that the Queen of Clubs will be coming up very, very soon, and that is when they will be stopping to deal, and that is exactly there. The next card, you instruct them to place it face down in the deck and deal all of the rest to see that all the cards are indeed different, because they didn't really inspect the deck at the start and they could think that there's maybe some trickery going on, but there's not. So right now in this case, you can see that all of the cards are facing one way except for one, which is the card next to the one they selected. You placed an open prediction of the 5 of hearts before they started shuffling, before they chose a card, before they dealt, before they cut, before they buried the deck. The card that they stopped on, every card in the deck has a mate, and in this case, the mate is the 5 of diamonds, and they've managed to find it. So that is one of the routines that you get, and this is kind of the poster routine in the actual project. There's another one, if ever, that I could show you just quick. This one is very, very simple. It's essentially you tell the spectator to just, you take a prediction and you write something. In this case, I'm going to write the 6 of diamonds. So I would write the 6 of diamonds, place it on the table, and tell the spectator to just think of a random number in their head. Let's say they go for 31. You say 31. Would you be surprised after all the shuffles, all the cutting that we did, that the 6 of diamonds is at 31? Pick up the deck, and you tell them to start dealing slowly the cards, one by one, onto the table, counting to their numbers. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. And you tell them, you know what? Just cut approximately to 31. So they're going to cut around where they think 31 is, which is right there. You say, excellent. So now let's actually see if you cut dead on. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. They were a bit short, but that's not the point because they cut 28 cards. And this is the card that they cut to. And what's actually interesting is that this was not an examination of them trying to cut specifically to their card at the number. It was just to try and get them to think differently when selecting a card, because if the mind doesn't really focus on what it's supposed to, it can do miracles. And you had put a prediction of the 6 of diamonds before, and exactly the place that they stopped on is the 6 of diamonds. So that's another routine from the Open Prediction project, and I hope that you enjoyed this double performances from the projects. Now let's get into where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. This is available pretty much anywhere, your favorite magic stores, whether they're the big companies or the smaller companies. As long as they offer you downloadable videos, you can purchase this project. It will set you back the price of $30 US, which is around 50 Canadian. And what you get with your purchase is a 2 hour and 5 minutes video with Peter Turner and Pigcake sat down at a table, rummaging through different type of effects. They go through the effect that I did first, that's kind of the poster boy. Then they go through variations of that, and they go through the one that I showed you, and then they go through a bunch of other variations and choices and different effects that you can do with the open prediction type style. All of that is really well explained, really well done, and all of it can be done with a normal borrowed deck. All of the routines that I've done can be done with that, but if you do have something like this will greatly enhance your effect because you don't have to touch the deck at all. You don't need to touch, to shuffle, to do anything if you have one like this. Whereas if you do it with a normal deck, you will have for just 1 second, you will need to maybe square up the cards or show them something. But even then, everything is well explained, well taught, and the routines are great. I think that shuffling, that first open prediction is just fantastic. Personally, I wouldn't do it with a deck of cards. I would do it with a billet. So I would write it with a billet from the start. And you can literally predict the actual card they will stop on. You don't have to do it as a mate. You can literally predict they will stop on this card. So you can do that if you please. But the tutorial is great, well shot, well filmed, and everything is well done. So now that you've learned that, let's talk about difficulty. What is the difficulty of these effects? 90% of these effects are super, super easy. Both of the effects that I've done are basically just presentation. They're effects that you probably learned when you started out Magic when you were 6 or 7 or 8 years old, but these just put layers of deception on them and make them seem more impossible. And that's what these effects are. They're super easy, bare bones effects, just boosted up to a different level based on the subtleties and the intricacies of the methods that are basically self-working. All of these effects are basically self-working. So it's really, really, really easy to perform, okay? In terms of practicality, all you need to carry around for this is a deck of cards, whether it is a marked deck like I'm using here, or if it's a random borrowed deck or just a normal deck that you carry, tally-ho, bicycle, a random deck of cards is good enough. It doesn't even need to be complete. The deck doesn't even need to have 52 cards for these routines, as long as it has at least 50 or 40 to have a stack to be able to count with, then you're good to go. In terms of angles, the angles are 360 for the routines. In terms of reset, there is no reset for the routines. They're all instant reset. In terms of examinability, it is normal deck, so it is fully examinable. And in turn of having a table is better for most of the effects, but you can easily do it in the hands if you so wish. Now let's get into where do you perform. Where would you perform these effects? Anywhere you do your card magic. So if you do your card magic in parlor, stage, cabaret, you can do these effects. If you do your card magic in close-up, table hopping, etc., you can do this effect. These effects can be done pretty much everywhere. So now that we've discussed that, let's get into the positives and negatives. First, let's get into the negatives. What are the negatives of this download? One of the negatives of the download is that for some of the routines, you will have to watch it twice. For example, the first routine, maybe I was just tired, but I kind of watched it and I was like, oh, okay, I guess. And I was like, the method seems convoluted, it seems complicated, I won't be interested in it. Then at some point at a Magic kind of meetup here in Montreal, someone performed me this effect and I was like, oh my God, that is incredible. It kind of looks like an effect Peter Turner does. And he was like, yeah, that's from the download. It's the first trick. And I was like, no way. So then I came back to it and I kind of understood. So maybe it's my fault. But I do feel that in some cases, they start talking about the effect tangent into other things, come back, and it is maybe at some points a bit confusing, but that again, that may just be me. It's maybe not a video error. So that's just my thing, and that's technically the only negative I can say, because as always, I avoid complaining about price, but I do think this is a bit high priced for what you are getting. But again, that is not something that, that we usually deduct points for. Now, in terms of the positives, the routine use a normal deck. It's a really nice duo. I think Peter Turner and Pigcake work so well together. I'm so happy that they've kind of buddied up. They do such great work together. I think they really help each other in a lot of places. So it's really fun to see them talk. Their routines are easy. They're relatively simple. They're repeatable. They're inspectable. They're, you don't have to bring any gimmicks. They're really, really fun, straightforward routines that in a lot of them, the spectator does everything. You're not the one touching, fondling the cards. The spectator does everything, which is a major bonus. So having said all of this, would I recommend this project and what do I give it out of 10? Honestly, if you liked the performance of the first effect, or you've seen the trailer and you've seen it performed by Peter Turner, because Peter Turner does add even more layers of deception to it that may, in certain performances, not work. But if you like that first routine, I think it's worth it for that routine. The other routines are good, but they're not as good as this one. So really, that depends on you, and it depends on if ever that routine pleases you. I think the project is worth it. However, if you don't like that routine, I don't know if other routines in the project will necessarily be for you, but that doesn't mean I'm saying don't buy it. I'm saying maybe think about it more than you would have before. So having said that, I still think this is a good project. I still think this is fun. The main routine is great. I like it and I do perform it. So just because of that, this is getting an 8.25 on 10 from me. I think it's good. I think it's another great Peter Turner. Sit down with him. I just love Peter Turner, so I basically buy and watch everything he does. So for me, I may be a bit biased in that sense, but I still think this is fun and great, and that's all I have to say about it. So thank you so much for your constant support, even when I've not been uploading. I do appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next review. Have a great one, and bye-bye.